Imagine this. You are completely innocent, pure, holy, without a single sin. Yet they drag you through the night like the most dangerous criminal on earth. Lies swirl around you like venomous snakes. False witnesses twist your words. Your closest friends, they scatter in fear. And the very people you came to rescue, they look you in the eyes and choose someone else. A murderer, a rebel, a guilty man. This isn't just history. This is the darkest night humanity ever faced. The night truth stood silent while fear shouted loud. The night love was betrayed and loyalty shattered. Welcome to the trial and denial of Jesus Christ, a story that still breaks hearts and still offers hope. Let's step into that cold, unforgettable night together. It was deep into the night in Jerusalem. The air was thick with tension and the smell of oil lamps flickering in the high priest's courtyard. Jesus, bound, weary from betrayal and arrest, was dragged before the Sanhedrin, the most powerful religious court in Israel. These were the teachers of the law, the guardians of tradition. But tonight, they weren't seeking justice. They were hunting for a way to kill the Son of God. False witness after false witness stood up. Their stories clashed and contradicted each other. One claimed this, another claimed that, but none of it stuck. The high priest Caiaphas could barely contain his frustration. He finally arose, his voice cutting through the room like a blade. "I charge you under oath by the living God. Tell us if you are the Messiah, the Son of God." The room fell deathly silent, every eye fixed on Jesus. Then he spoke, calm, steady, and full of divine authority. "You have said so. But I say to all of you, from now on you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven." Gasps rippled through the council. Caiaphas tore his robes in dramatic outrage. "Blasphemy!" he screamed. "We don't need any more witnesses. You've heard the blasphemy yourselves." The verdict was already sealed in their hearts, not because Jesus was guilty, but because his truth exposed their hypocrisy. Then the mockery began. They blindfolded the King of Kings. They spat in his face. They struck him with their fists and slapped him. "Prophesy to us, Messiah. Who hit you this time?" Oh, the humiliation. The Creator being mocked by his own creation. The one who spoke galaxies into existence, now silent under their blows. Yet, in that silence, his love remained unshaken. Meanwhile, outside in the courtyard, the night air was cold and biting. A small fire crackled, casting long, dancing shadows on the faces of servants and guards. Peter, bold Peter, the one who had sworn he would die for Jesus, sat there warming his hands, trying to blend in, trying not to be noticed. A servant girl stared at him closely. "You were with that man from Nazareth, weren't you?" she said. Peter's heart pounded. Fear gripped him like ice. "I don't know what you're talking about," he blurted out. Strike one. A little later, another person pointed at him. "This fellow was with Jesus of Nazareth." Peter denied it again, louder this time. "I am not. I swear I don't know the man." Strike two. Then, about an hour later, someone else recognized his Galilean accent. "Surely you were one of them. Your speech gives you away." Now, Peter was desperate. Fear turned to panic. He began to curse and swear. "I don't know this man you're talking about. I don't know him." Strike three. And at that very moment, a rooster crowed. The sound pierced the darkness like a divine arrow straight to Peter's soul. Suddenly, Jesus' words from earlier that evening echoed in his mind. "Before the rooster crows twice, you will disown me 3 times." Peter looked across the courtyard, and in the distance, Jesus turned. Their eyes met. Not with anger, not with, "I told you so," but with a look of deep, heartbreaking love and sorrow, a look that said, "I knew this would happen, and I still chose you." Peter broke. He ran out into the night and wept bitterly. Tears streamed down his face as the weight of his failure crushed him. The rock had crumbled. The disciple had denied his Lord. Let's pause right here for a moment. This isn't only Peter's story, it's ours too. How often have we denied Jesus through our silence, our fear, or our choices when it mattered most? If this is touching your heart today, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. It only takes a second, and it helps us bring more of these powerful stories to you. Morning broke with a heavy weight. The religious leaders, unable to carry out the death penalty themselves under Roman law, dragged Jesus to the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. Pilate was a hardened politician, known for his cruelty and political maneuvering. He looked at the bound figure before him. "Are you the king of the Jews?" he asked, almost mockingly. Jesus replied with quiet dignity, "You have said so." The chief priests hurled accusation after accusation, claiming Jesus was stirring up the people, opposing taxes to Caesar, and claiming to be a king. But Jesus, he remained mostly silent. Pilate was amazed. He had seen many prisoners beg, plead, or curse, but this man stood with a peace that didn't make sense. "I find no basis for a charge against him," Pilate declared. But the crowd wasn't satisfied. The shouts grew louder, more furious. To calm the growing unrest, Pilate tried a different tactic. He remembered that Herod Antipas, the ruler of Galilee, was in Jerusalem for Passover, so he sent Jesus to Herod. Herod was thrilled at first. He had heard so many stories about Jesus, the miracles, the teachings, the crowds. He hoped to see a spectacular sign or miracle to entertain him. He questioned Jesus relentlessly. "Do something. Show us a miracle." But Jesus said nothing, not a single word. Truth does not perform for mockers. Frustrated and insulted, Herod and his soldiers turned to ridicule. They dressed the king of the universe in a gorgeous royal robe, bowed before him in fake reverence, and laughed hysterically. Then, still mocking, they sent him back to Pilate. The rejection kept mounting. The loneliness was crushing. Yet Jesus endured it all, for you and for me. Back at Pilate's headquarters, the pressure was building. The governor knew Jesus was innocent. His own wife had even sent him a warning in a dream. Have nothing to do with that innocent man. Pilate had a custom during Passover to release one prisoner as a gesture of goodwill. He brought out two men, Jesus and Barabbas. Barabbas was no ordinary criminal. He was a notorious rebel, a murderer, and an insurrectionist who would cause chaos and bloodshed. Pilate stood before the restless crowd and asked, "Which one do you want me to release to you, Barabbas or Jesus, who is called the Messiah?" He expected them to choose Jesus. After all, who would pick a killer over a healer? But the chief priests stirred up the crowd like a wildfire. The whispers became roars. "Barabbas! Give us Barabbas!" Pilate was stunned. "What shall I do with Jesus then?" he shouted back. "Crucify him!" the crowd screamed. "Crucify him!" Pilate tried one last time. "Why? What crime has this man committed? I have found no reason to condemn him." But their voices only grew louder and more violent. "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate, fearing a riot and wanting to please the crowd, washed his hands in a bowl of water before them all. "I am innocent of this man's blood," he declared. "It is your responsibility." And just like that, the guilty walked free. The innocent was condemned. Barabbas, shocked, perhaps trembling with disbelief, had his chains removed. He walked out into freedom because Jesus took his place on death row. Can you feel the weight of that exchange? The murderer set free, while the perfect Lamb of God carried the cross. France, this wasn't random injustice. This was a divine exchange. Barabbas represents every one of us. We were the guilty ones, rebels against God, stained by sin, deserving punishment. But Jesus, the innocent one, took our place. Peter failed him in fear. The religious leaders rejected him out of pride. The crowd chose violence over grace. Yet Jesus still chose the cross. He still chose you. Even in his greatest moment of trial and denial, his love never wavered. That same love is reaching out to you today. So here's the question that echoes through the centuries. If you had been in that crowd on that fateful morning, who would you have chosen? Barabbas or Jesus? Take a moment right now and type in the comments, "I choose Jesus," if you stand with him today. Let your voice be heard where the crowd once shouted wrong. If this story moved you, please like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the powerful continuation, the road to the cross and the empty tomb that changes everything forever. Thank you for watching. May the love that endured the trial and denial transform your life today. God bless you. See you in the next story.